Hey guys, Christine again. So welcome to our segment of Grammar for Grown-Ups. Now today we're going to emphasize comma splices, run-ons, fragments, how to fix them, what are they, what is going on here, right? So first things first, we need to know what an independent versus a dependent clause is. A clause is simply a group of words that we put together in order to form a sentence. So if I were to ask you, hey, what's a sentence? You kind of say, hey, that's kind of a ridiculous question, right? There are words together with a period at the end. Exactly. But what kind of words, right? So we all remember our grammar school subject, verb, predicate, blah, 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 blah. Three simple things that you need to remember. Those three things are subject, verb, and a complete idea. Once you have those three things, you've got a full sentence. So, I like peanut butter. I is the subject, like is the verb, peanut butter is my complete idea. If I were to just say, hey, I like what? And then I kind of leave you without fully understanding the entire sentence, right? Alright, so basically there are two types of clauses. One is independent, the other is dependent. An independent clause is basically those three things together. Subject, verb, complete idea. A dependent clause is when we have a subject and verb unit together, but that's it. No complete idea, right? Now, why have all of these things? It's, basically giving us different ways of being able to write. You might just say, okay, well, why not just write plain and fluid and stop mixing all of these commas together? I get it, but that's not how we speak, and that would be really odd in terms of flow. Now, the reason for this flow is simply so that we do not talk like robots. Otherwise, I would sound like Sam's green eggs and ham. I am Sam. I am Sam. Sam, I am. Do you like green eggs and ham? Right? So if I were to speak to you in one sentence, increments constantly, like, hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Christine. How are you today? Right? It would sound very robotic, very awkward. So that's why we've got the ands and the commas and all this stuff. So I'm just going to try to break it down, make sense of it to you, okay? If we can put it in a nice little chart, that would be awesome. So, independent versus dependent. That's it. Now, comes for the errors that we're going to tackle. We've got run-ons, comma splices, and fragments. Now, what are these? Simply, they are just grammatical errors that we need to fix. So we've got a run-on, and basically it is two or more independent clauses that have no punctuation at all to separate. So if I were to say, I like peanut butter, I like jelly, there's no separation in between. Okay. Comma splices. Now, it's the same thing, except we've got a comma there, right? Two or more independent clauses that are separated by only a comma. That is also a grammatical mistake. Now, lastly, a fragment. Basic definition is it's just a cluster of words that is acting as an independent clause, but it's not, okay? We do this all of the time, mainly because it's how we speak, and that's okay. So we just have to know how to put it so that it doesn't come off as incorrect and incomplete in our writing. So, a fragment is basically, it's either missing a subject, missing a verb, or missing a complete idea. Any of those three things, you've got a fragment on your hands. And that is one of the most frequent grammar mistakes that I think I see as, over the years teaching. An example of a fragment would be something like, hey, Charlie, when you get to class tomorrow? And I just stare at you because it's like my brain just deflated inside of my head in the middle of my sentence. That's a fragment. When you get to class tomorrow, right? I've got my subject and my verb. You get, but I don't have a complete idea. When you get to class tomorrow, can I see your notes? That would be, a more complete thought. Alright, so now that we've got the definitions down, let's go ahead and get into the different ways and how to fix them. Now, simple thing. First things first, I want to make sure that we have a good understanding of the fanboys. What are fanboys? Fanboys is basically just an acronym, and it is an acronym for coordinating conjunctions. Now, what is this, right? I don't know if any of you remember this, or maybe your parents might remember this, but we've got this Grammar Rock video, right? The link's below, and it's the conjunction junction one. What's that function? Picking up words and phrases and clauses, right? Okay, that thing. So all the fanboys are doing is literally linking words together, peanut butter and jelly, phrases together, right? and clauses. So I like to make lists of things sometimes. I like this and then this happened, but when this happened, that's how we speak usually. Now it's just, are we linking them together appropriately within the context of, you know, our writing? So first things first, fanboys, okay? All these words are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. All right, we got these 7 words. The way they function is we have to have a comma before the fanboys. Always, always, always. The reason being is that that is the appropriate way to link together 2 independent clauses. Otherwise, you're stuck with a comma splice or a run-on, right? Most likely a run-on if you leave out the comma. But if you only have the comma, then that would be a comma splice. So we got these fanboys. Now what do we do with them? So if I'm looking at the sentence, she might have spoken, but I did not hear, okay? We've got she might have spoken, one independent clause, but, comma, but would be the fanboys, I did not hear. Second independent clause. We've got 2 independent clauses without any punctuation to separate, meaning we've got a run-on, okay? So how do we fix it? Easiest fix is just slap comma fanboys right between it. She might have spoken, but I did not hear, right? Okay. Another way to fix it is we can introduce a period, right? Or we can do a semicolon. Now, the period and the semicolon kind of are the same. Why use the semicolon instead? Because, like I said before, using periods all the time, it will just make everything very choppy, right? Semicolons give us kind of a little bit more access. So how do I identify an independent versus a dependent clause? Okay, let's go ahead and look at this example right here. After the rain stops, I will go outside. Now, we've got a subject and a verb, right? Rain stops. Do I have another subject and verb unit? I will go, right? So we've got subjects and verbs, meaning immediately it is a clause. Now, is it independent or is it dependent? Okay, so I've got after the rain stops. Is that a dependent clause or an independent clause? If we're unsure, ask yourself, can it stand alone? If it can, then it's independent. But if it can't, then it's dependent. So, hey, after the rain stops, what happens, right? So that makes it a dependent clause. Now, the main problem here is the word after. After is a subordinating conjunction, and we've got a lot of subordinating conjunctions. If that word was gone and we didn't have the word after in that sentence, my sentence would be the rain stops. So if I came up to you guys and I said, hey guys, the rain stops, you'll say, yes, Christine, yes it does, good job, right? Okay, you're not confused. You're not wondering what I'm trying to say. You know exactly what I'm saying. It might be odd, but you understand. You process everything. There is a subject, a verb, and a complete idea there. Whether you like it or not, it's still there, right? So, hey guys, the rain stops. Or, hey guys, after the rain stops, and then I just like die or something. It doesn't make sense, okay? So I need to finish that. Now, I will go outside. So, I will go, subject and verb, outside. Perfect. That makes sense on its own, right? So we've got an independent clause there. So our structure is going to be a dependent and an independent clause. So I just wanted to give you this example so we can understand the differences between dependent and independent clauses. That is going to be probably one of the hardest things to learn before you can actually start deconstructing sentences and fixing all of the minor comma rules. If you want to fix fragments, I would say the easiest way is to just go through that independent clause checklist. Do you have a subject? Do you have a verb? Do you have a complete idea? If you're missing any of these things, you absolutely have a fragment. You want to fix it, okay? So just to recap, we can fix run-ons and comma splices, okay? This is a fix for both of them with a period or a semicolon. Often with the semicolon, we can add in transitions. A lot of people require them in their classes. Sometimes it makes it flow, sometimes it doesn't. It's not a hard set rule, right? So it would be independent clause, semicolon, furthermore, comma, independent clause, right? I like chocolate chip cookies, semicolon, furthermore, comma, I enjoy a glass of milk with them, right? So I've got two independent clauses separated by the semicolon, but we're just adding the furthermore, the transitional thing there to make it flow, right? I could just as easily say, I like chocolate chip cookies, semicolon, I enjoy them with a glass of milk, right? So there are multiple ways that we can play with this, and honestly, it's just a matter of like you discovering your own voice, you being able to project your academic self in your own way, however you want to be. If you want to be a robot, fine, but no one's going to be interested in that, so that's all I'm saying. Alrighty. And after the semicolon, we can do the comma fanboys. Now, this is the thing with the fanboys, okay, is the comma and the fanboys by themselves, they are best friends. Why is that? Because if you only have the fanboys, you are making a run-on. If you only have the comma, you are creating a comma splice. So they absolutely need to be together in order to fix either or. Okay, so that's all I've got for you guys today. So thank you for watching our first segment on Grammar for Grown-Ups. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, please go ahead and comment below. And if this is your first time with us, go ahead and subscribe. Click that little subscribe button. You can see all of the cool things that we're going to be discussing from here on out. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.